All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our daily live where we are reclaiming our true authority of our reality, manifesting, really decreeing, activating your truth, reclaiming everything that was manipulating, that was swaying you from your wish fulfilled, and allowing the law of assumption to really put you in a place of supremacy where nothing and no one act in opposition because they never did, but it doesn't always feel like that, right? So if you are new, be sure to check out the past videos to follow along. We will be going further into the workshop that we've been following. Again, if you want access to the whole workshop, it is in the the unmasking course that's available in case you want the full thing. We're kind of going at turtle speed, but I really like breaking it down this way. So before we go into this next segment, what I want to focus on, again, as you are creating, decreeing, moving throughout your reality, throughout your consciousness, and being faced, if you will, but again, it's always from you. There's circumstances that seem to oppose you. They might seem to challenge you. They might, and most likely are, old assumptions that we were conditioned with that had us looking towards our outer reality for permission. It trained us to look out here for validation. And so personally, I have found that there is this inner narrative, right, where it's like, I'll do my inner conversations, I'll do my meditations, my decreeing, and I'm pretty intense about that stuff. So like I'll do it for a while. And then like today I had to go into the outer world. Now, of course, there's already that transition right there. Something you'll hear in the law of assumption is there technically is no outer world. And so I use it to kind of define the concept, but we do want to also be aware of that because, right, when I go into the outer world, that is me already submitting and saying there's some separate world out there that now I have to go face, where my inner world, I feel like I have really good control over it. I feel very strong in it and it feels really like powerful. It feels really good. But the whole point, right, with really being the only authority in your reality is your inner world and outer world become one. They actually start to reflect each other. I do think it's important, like we've been doing, to kind of navigate and say, let's look at the assumptions that created this outer world to feel so like not resonant. Like I can honestly say the world that I was like conditionally brought up in, it held like no resonance to me. Growing up, I was like, and you know, you hear people say things like, I was born in the wrong decade, but I was like, there's no decade. I like, no, I'm not even from here. I don't want any of this. And so I've always had kind of this assumption of like hostility and kind of just, I have no resonance to this outer world. This outer world has always been challenging and just not responding to me in any way. It didn't meet any of my needs. It didn't respond to me. It never felt like it was attuned to me. And so when the concept of everyone is me pushed out, your inner world reflects the outer world, that was so baffling to me. Like there were some things where I was like, yeah, I could see that. And I was doing inner conversations and I could see like, all right, these are getting pushed out, so this works. But especially as these core ones started to come out, there was like a deep hostility of the outer world where I'm like, this world is awful. I'm one of those people where like I saw Avatar and I just cried because I was like, besides all the drama, like I was like, that's the world I want to be in. Like, this is not my world. This is not it. But as we kind of reclaim our authority, I've been, seeing these parts of the world that I've been avoiding or fighting or hiding from. I'm having to reclaim them, having to say that, okay, it's still my consciousness. And even though it hasn't been resonant, I can now decree that it will be. I can now see the systems and structures and the people And I can start to really see, okay, here's the assumptions that were at play. Here are the feelings of like, yeah, hatred and hurt and neglect that I'm gonna allow myself to feel. I'm gonna allow the inner child to feel it. And then I need the courage to say, okay, but if this is mine, I can form it. If this is mine, I can face it and I can say, but here's what I want you to be. And this to me too takes a lot of courage and discipline and trust in yourself that you can find what you want it to be. I've talked about this with inner conversations and your specific person. If you're someone that didn't grow up with any type of love or care, it can be a creative challenge at first to figure out, like, what do I even want to hear? And those first videos I ever made, which are all in the Manifest Together library, they were all about, like, what is the dialogue that would even speak to me? Because I've never even heard it. What I grew up with was so out of touch with me that I don't even know the language. And then as I started to find it, the voices of cynicism will come up. You're going to have that doubt. You're going to have that despair. And that's where we keep working with the inner child to be like, okay, but I'm in control now. And yes, this love is possible because we are, it's already available, which is why we can even imagine it. And I'm going to stand strong here and I'm going to bring this into being. And this is where we get to the next part that we're about to go into this workshop on, is so much of the strength that's needed in the law of assumption and decreeing with certainty is learning how to not only find the language, find the imaginal acts within yourself that would actually be resonant with you. So hearing what you want to hear from the type of partner you want to hear it from, especially if it's nowhere close to happening. Seeing the type of society that you actually want, even again, if you're surrounded by the opposite, and allowing the emotions of doubt, despair, I'm defeated, I am, hopeless, it's going to come up, right? Especially those younger ones, but allowing them to fuel what you want it to be and you stay consistent. And what this does as you learn to really go through the different states, allow the emotions to fuel all the different desires, you really learn how to get to such a strong place in your desire that no matter how bleak it is out there, you become unmovable. And ultimately, with reclaiming your authority and your reality, is you are no longer someone that is manipulated or swayed or moved by the outer world in its entirety. You no longer submit to the outer world in any way. It doesn't dictate who you are and what you want. Your awakened imagination, the wish fulfilled, what you've been living in, that is the only world and the definitive answer for who you are and what your world is now. And this has to catch up. And it will as soon as you're in that certainty, as soon as you are no longer moved by a world that, is showing you the opposite, that seems so out of touch. It seems like it's definitely not responding. It seems like there's still that pull of like, but I got to do this. I have to play this game. I have to do whatever to get what I want. This is where we have to like hold your ground, right? I've used the term like you stay in your throne, you don't move, and you hear the conversation, right? You go back to the imaginal act. You define that again and again until it is law. It is actually law. Like what we are doing here is we are saying that the laws within me, the laws of my heart, what I'm decreeing is true, trumps any outer law, because that was just a world of echoes. That was always transitory, right? But what I'm decreeing, what I'm saying, what my wish fulfilled is, now that I'm clear on it, it's immovable. It's not going anywhere. And when you have that type of steadiness, where again, the old stuff can filter out, but you don't move, it can't manipulate you. Okay, well, now you are finally manipulating energy. Now you are manipulating what the brain is projecting out to you. Now you are finally staying true in your decree and your certainty. And to me, this is where instant manifestation becomes incredibly possible and is already happening in a lot of unconscious ways, right? But we want to make it conscious. We want to get to the place where you decree it and you expect to see it. You already do that in a lot of ways, but if the decree is not in alignment with exactly what you want, you're not in the supreme authority yet. But that's the true you is always there. And we are lining up with the true you at all times. So as we go into this next part of the workshop, again, I want you to remember all these manipulations out here, they have no actual power, but we do have to reclaim the power that we were conditioned to give it, if that makes sense. So see it for what it is. And as we see it and reclaim it and say, actually, no, this is how it's going to go. And whatever fear we had associated with it, whatever part of us wanted to avoid it, as that starts to dissipate, as you hold your ground, it's all about holding the ground. That's what builds confidence, right? Then you really do strip it of the power. And then it has no choice but to be resonant with you. No matter what it was or how long it was playing out, it doesn't matter. Because if you are holding true to your true self, which is eternal, you've always been playing the game way longer. You've always been the one who was actually defining the law. You're just doing it consciously again. All right, let's go in.
Navigating the emotional manipulation and lies. The session moves on to the tactics of emotional manipulators, those who twist your words, make you doubt yourself, and leave you feeling confused and powerless. They're masters of manipulation, you say, your voice firm, commanding their full attention. They'll twist everything you say, make you feel like you're the one who's crazy, who's wrong, but you're not. You're the one who sees clearly, who knows the truth. You don't let their games sway you. You stay grounded, centered in your own truth, your own power. You revise every conversation, every interaction where they've tried to manipulate you, and you rewrite it with you in control, with you holding the power. You see them nodding, starting to understand how they've been giving away their power and how they can take it back. They'll try to make you feel guilty, make you feel bad for standing up for yourself, for setting boundaries. You continue. Your voice a low, seductive growl, but you don't fall for it. You. Inner Conversation LLC 2025 56. Recognize it for what it is, a tactic to control you, and you don't allow it. You stand firm in your boundaries, in your truth, and you don't let their guilt tripping touch you. You are the one in control. You are the one who decides how you feel, how you respond. You don't react to their manipulation. You command your reality, and they have no choice but to fall in line, stripping away the power of second causes. You turn to the group, your gaze fierce, filled with the wild, untamed power that's become your signature. You've been conditioned to believe in second causes, you say, your voice carrying the weight of absolute authority. You've been taught to believe that others have power over you, that their actions, their words, their manipulation can affect your reality. But here's the truth. There are no second causes. You are the only cause. Your consciousness is the only reality. What you assume, what you believe is what becomes true. And when you stop giving power to others, when you stop believing that they can affect you, you take back your power. You become the master of your reality, and nothing, no one can touch you. You see the realization dawning on their faces, the understanding that they've been giving away their power, but now they're ready to reclaim it. You revise every situation where you've given away your power. You continue, your voice rising with conviction. You see yourself as the one in control, the one who commands, the one who decides. You strip away the illusion of second causes, and you stand firm in the truth that you are the only cause, the only power in your reality. And when you do that, everything changes. They lose their power, their control, and you rise as the supreme authority in your world.
Okay, tomorrow we will go into, I put together some mantras coming up for supreme authority and revision. So we'll practice that tomorrow of ones you can kind of do, especially when it's happening. What I'd love to know in the comments is how you're applying this already. Like, are you seeing assumptions showing up, and are you facing them? Are you standing strong, holding the throne, and starting to really take back? I mean, it's a lot of energy to take back. when you think about something you're afraid of, like even today, I had a moment where I had to do a lot of like human things that I've never liked doing. And I had to face, if you will, kind of like the opposite of even the meditation I had done that morning. And I could tell it was in that direction. I could tell even I did this meditation. I'm like, no, I have to go out into that world and it's going to be this and this and this. And even then I was trying to revise it, but there was like this, because it's a pattern. And I think for a long time, it was such a protective mechanism. It felt good to kind of be like, but I'm different than this world and it's not me. And I see the ugliness and I see the incompetence and I see all these things that are wrong. And that definitely gave me like a protective shield when I was little, right? But as we reclaim it, it's a false protection. Okay. So I was noticing, and my body's sensitive, right? So right away my body gets like shaky and I'm nervous. And then I'm with and around certain people, and I've always had, right, a response to people around me. And that's been something I've really been trying to work on, like holding my energy and really imagining, right, a world where they respond to me. It's not the other way around. My nervous system isn't always reacting to the world around me. And so it's, these reclamations everywhere we can. And when I got back, right, there was a huge reaction in my body. And just taking that time, trusting yourself to breathe through. I mean, for me, it was panic. It was shakiness. It was just the little girl inside of me that's just like, it's not changing. This world is so dangerous. Like, who am I to think that I can see a change? Who am I to think that these meditations and everything will actually play out? This is wild, And that's where you learn to breathe through that heavy fear or panic. And you sit with your younger self and be there for them and then really reclaim that energy. And we're not going to give the outer world that power anymore. We're not going to give it that credit anymore. We're not going to allow it to scare a part of ourselves where, yeah, understandable why that fear was there when I was younger. But now I'm going to revise it for her, the entire thing. And I'm really going to allow that fear to come back and like eat it, transmute it, be this raw power that I did the whole trip again. And I saw it again and I saw it again. And it takes discipline, but it's worth it. It is worth it to take that time to all the little places you were giving up power, take it back, revise it. Even if you're shaking while you're doing it, even if like the body is panicking, do the big breaths, but learn to take it back, and acknowledging that those moments are, to me, the most important. There's nothing more important to do than in those moments. That is your opportunity to take this raw power, to transmute it, and to set things right. And to never let a moment go by where it's not working. To never let a moment go by where this is bigger than me. It never has been and never will be. But this is my time to feel that, to own that, to breathe through a lot of raw energy. That's like, where do you want me to go? So let me know in the comments how it's going, and we will continue on with the mantras for supreme authority and revision tomorrow. Bye.